Let's rest, Tamara said. Cal, I know you're in a hurry to get to Alistair, but we're all tired, and air magic wiped us out. She did look a little gray. So did Jasper. Let's hide out until we all have our strength back. Cal wanted to object, but he couldn't. He was just too tired. He crawled into the cave and flopped down on the ground. He wished for a blanket, and that was his last thought before he dropped into sleep, falling as quickly and as deeply as if he'd been struck in the back of the head. When he woke, the sun was setting in a blaze of orange. Tamara was slumbering beside him, one hand in Havoc's fur. On Tamara's other side, Aaron was tossing fitfully, his eyes closed. Jasper slept too, his jacket wadded up as a pillow beneath his head. Cal heard a rustling sound outside the cave. He wondered if it was some kind of animal. Digging around in his pack, he found a half-eaten candy bar and made short work of it. He wasn't sure how long he'd been resting, but he knew he felt more awake and alert than he had since they'd embarked on this mission. A strange calm settled over him. I should leave them, he thought. They'd come far enough. He'd never had friends like this, friends who were willing to risk everything to help him. He didn't want to reward his friends by leading them to their doom. Then Cal heard another rustling, closer this time. It didn't sound like an animal, more like a herd, moving slowly and quietly through the brush. He revised his plan rapidly. Tamara! Wake up, Cal whispered, poking her with his foot. Something's out there. She rolled over and opened her eyes. Out there, he repeated softly. Something. She poked Aaron, and he got Jasper up, both of them yawning and groaning at being awoken. I don't hear anything, Jasper complained. Let's check it out, Aaron whispered. Come on. What if it's the mages? Tamara said quietly. Maybe we should just hunker down? Cal shook his head. If they come in here, there's nowhere to run. We're literally backed against a wall. No one could deny that, so they got their stuff and, tugging Havoc along, emerged from the cave. Night was falling. You've lost it, Jasper said. There's nothing out here. But then they all heard it, a rustling that came from two places at once. Maybe the mages found us, Aaron said. Maybe we could. But it wasn't a mage that stepped out of the foliage. It was a chaos-ridden human who emerged, slack-faced and staring with coruscating eyes that spun with colors like a kaleidoscope. He was huge, dressed in ragged black clothes. Looking more closely, Cal realized they were the remains of a uniform, a ripped, old, blood-soaked uniform. There was an emblem over his heart, but in the gloom, Cal couldn't make out what it was. Jasper had gone papery white. He'd never seen one of the Chaos-Ridden before, Cal realized. Cal had only long enough to be horrified when another stepped out to his left. He spun, clutching Miri in his hand, just as a third surged out of some undergrowth to his right. And then another, and another, and another, all pallid and sunken-eyed, a flood of Chaos-Ridden coming from all sides. The enemy's army outnumbered them. What do we do? Gasped Jasper. He had grabbed up a stick from the forest floor and was brandishing it. Tamara was shaping a fireball between her hands. They were steady, but her expression was panicked. Get behind me, Aaron ordered. All of you. Jasper moved behind him with alacrity. Tamara was still working on her fireball, but she was already behind Aaron. Most of the Chaos-Ridden were massed on the opposite side of the clearing, staring at them with whirling eyes. The silence was eerie. I won't, Cal said. He didn't feel afraid. He didn't know why. You can't. I'm your counterweight, and I can tell you're not rested enough. You just used chaos magic. It's too soon to do it again. Aaron's jaw was set. I have to try. There's too many of them, Cal argued as the army began to advance. The chaos will consume you. I'll take them down with me, Aaron said grimly. Better this than the Alcahest, right? Aaron. I'm sorry, Aaron said, and ran toward them, skidding across pine needles. Tamara looked up from her fireball and screamed, Aaron, duck! He ducked. She threw the fire. It arced over Aaron's head and then landed among the mass of the Chaos-Ridden and exploded. Some of the Chaos-Ridden caught fire, but they kept coming. Their expressions didn't change, even when they fell down, still burning. Now Cal was more afraid than he could remember being. Aaron was nearing the first line of the enemy army. He held his hand up, chaos beginning to whirl and grow in his palm like a tiny hurricane. It swirled upward. The chaos-ridden had reached Aaron. They seemed to swallow him up from among them for a moment, and Cal's stomach dropped into his shoes. Cal started to stumble toward them and halted. He could see Aaron again, standing stock still, looking bewildered. The chaos-ridden were walking around him, making no move to touch him at all, like water parting around the rock in a stream. They marched past Aaron, and Cal could hear Jasper and Tamara breathing harshly because the chaos-ridden were moving in their direction now. Maybe they wanted to take out the weak ones before starting on Aaron. Cal was the only one with a knife, although he wasn't sure how much Amiri would help. He wondered if he'd die here, protecting Tamara and Jasper, and Aaron. It was a heroic way to go, at least. Maybe it would prove he wasn't what his father thought. The chaos-ridden had reached them. Aaron was trying to push his way through, trying to reach his friends. The first of the chaos-ridden, the huge man with the spiked wristbands, came to a stop in front of Cal. Cal tightened his grip on Miri. Whatever else, he was going to go down, fighting. The chaos-ridden spoke. Its voice sounded like a croak, rusty from disuse. "Master," it said, fixing its whirling eyes on Cal. "We have waited for you for so long." The first chaos-ridden knelt down in front of Cal. And then the next chaos-ridden knelt. And then the next, until all of them were on their knees, and Aaron was standing among them, staring at Cal across the clearing with a look of disbelief. And we'll stop right